So write this down. If you haven't, you've probably all heard this before, but you got to really remember this at a time like this. Price is only an issue in the absence of value. Think about that. Price is only an issue in the absence of value. This is a time where you can show value more than ever before. And so get out there and get what you're worth. And if you feel like you're worth more, then charge more. And by golly, show the value, show them, articulate the value as to why you're worth more, and people will pay it.
So true. Welcome to Business Insights with Matt Milia. I'm your host, Matt Milia. And in this podcast, we'll talk about the real, raw, uncut business success secrets you won't find anywhere else. Follow my journey from entry level to CEO. We discuss real actionable items you can plug into your business right away. To subscribe to our weekly top tips, you can go to www.mattpodcast.com and join our community of elite high-level performers. And if you're interested in our inside sales company, you can go to www.appointmentstoday.com to jump on a free strategy call. And now, stay tuned for our podcast. Hey, everybody. I want to welcome you to episode number 26, Business Insights with Matt Milia. And I am so excited because I've got on today an amazing guest, Mr. Michael Hellickson, the founder and really the guy who started Club Wealth and has now, I'm not going to take all of this from you because I know you have a lot that you'd want to share as far as Club Wealth goes. But Michael, thank you so much for jumping on. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me on, Matt. It's an honor to be on. I appreciate you taking the time to share this with everybody.
Absolutely. So, Michael, for anyone that has been living under a rock or they don't know what Club Wealth is, tell everybody a little bit about Club Wealth and really kind of about yourself and how you got started. Sure.
So Club Wealth is the number one coaching company in the team and brokerage space. So we do coach solo agents as well, but the majority of our clients are focused on building and growing teams and or brokerages. We have just over 70 coaches at Club Wealth. Yeah, right. That's just coaches. One of the things that's very unique about all of our coaches is that unlike any other company in the coaching space in real estate, every single one of our coaches sells more real estate or has a larger brokerage if they're coaching brokerage than the agents that they coach and or the brokers that they coach. And so it's a big deal. So if you're doing 100 transactions a year, 200. If you're doing, your coach does 400. If you've got a 150 person brokerage, your coach has a 500 person brokerage. I mean, it's really truly about making sure that you're only taking advice from people that have been where you want to go and do. So,
wow,
you look like you're getting ready to ask a question.
No, it's very unique that. Yeah. So your guys are still selling houses. Essentially, your coaches, so they're actively out in the field. So they're in the trenches. They know what works, what doesn't, where they need to pivot, which, that's, I think, the key word here of 2020, at least in my mind, is pivot. But what are you, that is a huge differentiator. What is it that made you guys decide? Because, of course, as the owner of the company, something that you could always do. And I know a lot of companies that do this where they'll have their coaches are maxed out. They'll have like a couple hundred people that they coach and all they do is coach and they put people in groups. But what was it that made you decide to keep it where they're still actively selling?
So I'll be real honest with you. Those other you described, those are great for the coaching company. That helps them make a lot more money. And it's a lot easier to scale a company. You can have a coach that's never sold real estate before, and they can coach, generally speaking, most of those companies are going to have, 75 to 80 clients per coach. And we just won't do that for a number of reasons. Number one, because we just feel like what we should be doing is not what's best for the company, but what's best for the client, right? If the focus is truly on moving the needle for the client and ensuring 100% that the client is having success and growing, then our success will naturally follow as a result. So in order to accomplish that, every one of our coaches has to be actively selling real estate. Well, if you're actively selling real estate, You can't possibly sell real estate at a high level, do 150, 250, 500, 1,000 transactions a year and still be coaching 75 clients. That's impossible. So we cap them at how many clients they can have. Generally speaking, our coaches will have anywhere from 5 to 10 clients each at any given time. That's it. That's the max. And what that does is it ensures not only that the coach is able to have the bandwidth to take care of the clients, but that the client feels like they're the only coaching client that coach has, right? That they are 100% the focus of that coach, and that coach can remember each client, their situation, what's going on. And so it matters. I'll give you an example. Like for me, I only personally coach about 6 people at a time. And so all the people that I coach all do, I should say, I think all of them right now do well over 500 transactions a year. And I've got, one that does they did 3,000 transactions last year, 3,300 transactions last year. Yeah. Right. So,
Wow.
There's some, that being said, I wouldn't be able to coach somebody like that if I haven't produced at a high level myself. When I was selling real estate I sold for just over 20 years. And I was very consistent. We had the number 1 team in the country, very consistently closing 120 to 180 transactions a month. We had 750 listings in active and pending status at one point with just 16 agents on the team.
Wow.
So, right. It's pretty crazy.
A month.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Now, I'm not saying that to brag. I'm saying that just so there's credibility behind the message, because again, if there's one piece of advice I could give everybody watching right now, is the following: stop taking advice from people who have not been where you want to go. Only take advice from people who have been where you want to go. One of our core values is, if you want to climb to the top of Mount Everest, you need a guide who's been to the top of Mount Everest before. Pretty tough to get there and avoid all the crevasses and the pitfalls and the challenges that can come along the way if you don't know where those dangers exist. So anyway, that being said, I would recommend that regardless of whether you're coaching with Club Wealth or somebody else, you need someone who has been where you want to go, and you need to follow them. You need to listen to what they're teaching you and be 100% coachable. And having a coach and being coachable are 2 very different things. So.
Would you mind sharing on that? I mean, I love that you just said that, because that's so true.
I can look across our database. I can look at all of our clients, and I can tell you based on the results who's really truly coachable and who's not. The ones that are not coachable, they struggle to move from one tier to the next. We break it up by tiers, right? Tier 1 is 0 to 25 transactions per year. Tier 2 is 25 to 75 transactions a year. Tier 3 is 75 to 150. And then it just goes up from there. It goes all the way up to tier 7, which is 1,000 transactions a year and more. On the brokerage side, it would be 25, 0 to 25 agents in the brokerage, 25 to 75 agents, and so forth. That said, if someone's struggling to move from tier to tier, generally speaking, not every time, but generally speaking, it can be traced back to lack of coachability. And what that means is they've got to be open to not only listening to and learning from their coach, but implementing the things that they and their coach decide are important to implement in their business. When they do, what happens is we see massive growth from tier to tier. I've had people move from tier 1 to tier 4 in a single year. As an example, I'll use one of our now coaches, Coach Nicole Garay. She came to us in tier 1, which means she was doing fewer than 25 transactions a year. And in 1 year, she moved to tier 4, which means she's doing over 150 transactions a year. She made that jump in a single year. That's massive, right?
It's exponential growth right there.
Yes, it is.
It's the massive definition.
It's massive. Wow. Yeah. So, but she's incredibly coachable, right? If I told her, hey, go stand out on the street corner in a chicken costume, which I never would, but if I did, she would do it, right? She'd say, oh, okay, I'll go do that. The problem for a lot of folks is they think they're coachable. They want to be coachable. They claim to be coachable. But at the end of the day, when we tell them to do something hard, like pick up the phone, they struggle with it, right? So if you're self-motivated, right? So, and when I always tell people, motivation has to come from within. If you're looking outside for motivation, if you're looking to other people for motivation, you've lost already. If you're looking to other people for accountability, if you need somebody to talk to you on a weekly or a daily basis to say, how many calls did you make? How many contracts did you write? How many appointments did you set? All that, like if you need that level of accountability, there's a bigger problem. And the problem is not outside, it's inside. So first we got to fix that problem. Once that problem's fixed, and once you're accountable and motivated on your own, now real coaching, real consulting can really happen, right? Now we can tell you the steps. Okay, here's exactly how you get to the next level. Here's step A, B, C, D. Here's exactly what you need to do. And now all of a sudden you've got the tools and you've got the mental capacity, the mental fortitude to be able to actually implement those things.
I love that. And a lot of that, I think, is it's intrinsic. Certainly, there's certain things that make up. There's probably characteristics that, and I'm sure you've done this for so long, you probably tell when you're like, yeah, this person may not be that core value fit for you as a part of being, you know, the brain behind Club Wealth. What was it that when you look for certain characteristics in an agent, I mean, what do you look for? Like, what does that ideal person consist of? And again, I know not everyone's ideal, but what does it look like? I mean, if there was a certain trait that stood out, what would it be?
Well, let's start with this. Thankfully, I'm not the only brain in Club Wealth. There's 70 plus coaches that really make up the curriculum and the systems and all the things that we do in Club Wealth. So it's more of a brain trust, right? It's not just one person's ideas, which is a big part of the magic of Club Wealth. That said, what do we look for in a coaching client? What is that ideal coaching client? It's somebody who isn't content where they're. It's someone that wants to grow. It's someone that wants to build a business rather than just being an entrepreneur. And here's what I mean by that. An entrepreneur, you're trading time for dollars, right? Essentially, most real estate agents are trading time for dollars. They go to work, they work their off, and they make a certain amount of money based on the work they perform. What we teach people how to do is trade ideas for dollars, right? It's building a real business. If you go on vacation for 2 weeks, you don't have to touch your phone, let alone be married to it like most agents are. When you go on vacation for 2 weeks, you should be able to focus on your family. That's where your focus should be, or whoever you're with on vacation. To do that requires building a business. To build a business requires building a team, right? Starts with, got to have an assistant. If you don't have an assistant, you are one. So we got to get you to a point where you've got somebody else doing all of the mundane, tedious details, the data entry, those types of things, so that you can focus on what you're best at, which is selling homes, talking to people face-to-face, voice-to-voice, over Zoom, Skype, whatever, so whether you're doing virtual appointments or in-person appointments, it's very important that you be voice-to-voice and face-to-face with people. So everybody else in your organization is going to be there to help support that. Then we need to duplicate you, right? We need to bring other agents onto the team, grow that team in a way that's going to allow you, again, to take time off, and it allow the others to do it as well. The team leader is not the only one that wins here. Everybody gets to utilize that leverage. That's why teams are taking over this landscape like crazy. Same thing on the brokerage side. On the brokerage side, if you're content having a 10-person brokerage, probably not our ideal client. You want to grow your brokerage to 100, 200, 500, 1,000 agents? Great. Let's talk. Give me an example. Fastest growing brokerage in Minnesota. One of our clients, Mike Bernier and Long Doan, and they're also two of our coaches. And as an example, when they started coaching with me, 4 years ago, they had 77 or 72 agents in their brokerage, somewhere in that range. And every year since they started coaching with me, we've helped them recruit 200 agents to their brokerage, 200 or more agents to their brokerage. And they now have a net. They've done a lot of weeding out, right? So they've let go of the cancerous ones and the ones that just weren't a good culture fit. And they've got a net, just over 500 agents in their brokerage now. Now, here's what's really interesting. Their market in the wake of COVID, the first couple of weeks after COVID, we started looking at some real stats for them. Their market in the Twin Cities in Minnesota was down 5%. At the same time, their brokerage, because again, they've been top grading their brokerage this whole time, their brokerage is up 14%. So,
wow.
Right? That's a massive swing. That's a 19% swing over the average brokerage in the market, average agent in the market. So anyway, that said, what we look for is true coachability. Like, are you really serious about growth? Are you really serious about whether you're a broker or an agent? Are you really serious about taking it to that next level? And if you are, cool. If you're not, that doesn't mean we don't love you. That doesn't mean that we're not here to help you, but we're really looking for the Eagles. So
I love that. I mean, that is, so you're still seeing, even amidst the the crisis, everything that's going on now with the coronavirus, you're still seeing agents that are experiencing growth, or they're at least keeping stability in their business?
Heck yes. And I'll tell you what, March 2020 for a good chunk of our clients was the best month they've ever had in terms of closings and transactions written. And I can look at most markets around the country right now. The vast majority of markets around the country right now aren't as bad off as people think. Even if your market is down a little bit, guess what? There are agents in that market whose business is way up, because what's happening is a lot of agents are giving up. They're like, peace out. I can't handle it. My, mental capacity shot. Oh, the government says I have to stay at home, so I can't work. Stay at home and not work are two very different things. You can work from home. Welcome to real estate. What a great opportunity, right? We can do virtual showings. We can do virtual open houses. We can do virtual listing appointments. We can do virtually our entire job virtually. And it's getting easier every day, especially now that the general public is getting really savvy with Zoom and other types of online video conferencing. It's making this not only more acceptable, it's making it expected and the norm. And so the opportunity to make more money from home has never been greater. And that allows you to be far more efficient. We have clients, I'm thinking of Jeff Russell and Kelly Jones. They've been clients with Club Wealth for several years now. They're in California. And Jeff did a virtual listing appointment on a house that was listed with another agent at $1.6 million on a 4% commission. And Jeff went in, he took that listing at a 6% commission for 1.2.
Wow.
Virtually, did it all virtually, never saw the house, never went out to the house, never met the seller face to face, all of it over Zoom, 100%.
Talk about differentiating and really just putting it all out there. And I mean, if that, because a lot of times what people will do, especially in a larger listing, I mean, and this being in your marketplace, I mean, they'll literally put their commission rates down to the floor just so that they can earn it, earn the business, and then hope and pray that it sells. So
that was happening when I got in the business in 91, Matt. And in 91, the interest rates were like, what, 14% or some crazy number like that. And, we had just come off, we were in a cycle similar to 2001, 2011, or, 2007. And I came in, I was taking listings at 7, 8, and 10% at a time when everybody else was taking them at 6%. So, you're worth what you're worth, you guys. You're worth what you decide you're worth. So write this down. If you haven't, you've probably all heard this before, but you got to really remember this at a time like this. Price is only an issue in the absence of value. Think about that. Price is only an issue in the absence of value. This is a time where you can show value more than ever before. And so get out there and get what you're worth. And if you feel like you're worth more, then charge more. And by golly, show the value, show them, articulate the value as to why you're worth more, and people will pay it.
So true. And just looking at what I've noticed for our inside sales company and what we're doing, we've really pivoted in our model, setting people up on digital appointments. And we've even created, we're almost done with it. We created a virtual slide deck that I'm really just going to hand out to anyone who is in real estate, because there's so many, I feel like they're not set up to do a virtual presentation. So, I mean, we made like a nice little Google presentation, basically put it all together. I will tell you the best virtual presentation I've seen so far. And, of course I got to plug Ken Krotz. I mean,
Ken's one of our coaching clients. Absolutely. That's awesome. Yeah. Ken's a good guy.
Well, and it was funny because when I was on your page, it motivated me. I saw somebody say, I'm working on my digital presentation. There's no better way to infuse some goodwill into the marketplace, because right now, so many people are uncertain. They don't know what to do. And of course, as a lot of new realtors that are coming in, they maybe come in with a few months of reserves. And then all of a sudden, when the bottom falls out, they don't know where to turn or what to do. What's your advice for individuals like that? What would you say they should do?
So let's start with this. I'll use an example of Sarah Cruz, one of our coaching clients in Texas, Houston, Texas. Wonderful woman. And when she started coaching with us, she was a newly single mom, multiple kids, and she had a concern. She says, Michael, I can only work 3 hours a day. Will coaching work for me? And my response to her was, well, I don't know. It depends on what you're willing to do during those 3 hours a day. And she says, I'm willing to do whatever you tell me to do. I said, I guess coaching will work for you then. And so I didn't know this at the time, but she made a decision in that moment. She had to choose between coaching and paying for her mortgage. I was not aware of that at the time. And she chose coaching. And let me tell you something. That woman, Sarah Cruz, no joke. She is no joke, man. This girl is game on. She made $100,000 that year working 3 hours a day. Wow. Dude, that girl's no joke. But here's the thing. Insanely coachable. She did everything we told her to do. And guess what? I could name story after story, example after example after example of other agents that have done the same thing. If you're truly coachable and you're really willing to work hard, you can accomplish whatever you want to accomplish. You just got to get very serious and be willing to put in the work, which she did. Let me give you some statistics really quick that are very interesting. We're saying, oh, is it even possible? Can we, it's COVID, all these shutdowns and all that, is that really screwing us up right now? No, let me tell you something. First of all, back in the day, I'll use 2007 and 2011. In 2007, at the peak of the market versus 2011 at the trough of the market, right? At the bottom of the market. So in 2007 to 2011, transactions dropped 20%. Number of transactions dropped 20%. At the same time, and that sounds bad, right? Oh my gosh, I'm going to lose 20% of my business. No, you're not. Check it out. Because the number of agents during that same period of time dropped by 26%. So if all you did was hung in there, you would have done more business. If all you did was just hang in there and didn't quit. So don't be a quitter. Hang in there. Stay the course. And then learn from those of us that have done this a few times. This is my fourth one of these. Learn from those of us, and I probably don't. I don't know. I hope I don't at that age. But I started selling real estate when I was 18, so I started young. But that being said, my fourth cycle, right? My fourth shift in the market, and I'm telling you, every single time has been a massive opportunity for my business and other agents' business as well. Write this down. If you guys only get one thing out of today, this is the thing you got to get out today. Shinzu said this: "Where's chaos, there's opportunity." Where there's chaos, there's opportunity. And there's tons of chaos out there right now. Companies like Redfin are laying off 41% of their workforce. You got iBuyers bailing out of the market, and all of a sudden another one's coming back in. It sounds like Open Door might be coming back into the market all of a sudden. But they were the first ones to bail, and now you got other ones that have bailed. You've got the discount agents who are struggling right now. You've got for sale by owner companies going out of business right now. You've got there's all this stuff out there that's changing, and yet those that are shifting, those that are adjusting, are having their best months ever. So can you. Where there's chaos, there's opportunity.
And that is why it's funny, because we have a marketing company that runs all of our advertising for us. And when I got on the phone with them, the first thing they said, "Oh, are you guys gonna pull back your budget?" I go, "No, actually." I go, I want to add about another 20 to 30% to it every month. Can you do that? And they're like, "You want to up it?" I'm like, "Yeah, I want to up it, because I know that right now, advertising, getting your name out there, brand awareness, recognition, there's so many people that are pulling back. And I'm noticing that our ads are performing better than, I think it says, it's performing better than 90% of the people that are out there. But from what I've seen, about 90% of the other people pulled back. So I'm like, well, I'm going to celebrate that either way. But it's great to see that. It's great to be in a position where, I'm definitely blessed. I mean, there's definitely a blessing here, because, I'm in a position where I can invest, I can put in. I've never lived lavish outside of my means. So I've been able to make sure that I'm able to reinvest into the business. And that really, that's what I wake up for, with, the attitude of gratitude every day. I can invest, I can keep my guys. And, I know there's this EIDL, there's the small business loans, which your attorney, I think it is, or he's amazing. I mean, literally, I'm actually, and he's, it's amazing to see when you have the right people to help out with that. What advice, as far as like with any agents that are out there that are struggling on that, and I don't know if you'd be okay with sharing his information. I'd love to. Yeah,
just go. That's actually easy. Yeah, if you guys are looking for help with those things, just jump on clubwealth.com/CPA. So Club Wealth, right? clubwealth.com/CPA, and that'll get you right to him. Awesome. But you're right. Don't try and do that stuff yourself. Get professional help. Those guys will do a consultation with you and have them share with you what you need to do for your situation. But but to your point though, right now, there really is a ton of opportunity out there right now. This is the time to not scale back on certain things. There are things you will want to scale back on. And I'll tell you this, it's your personal expenses, not your business expenses, that you scale back on in times like this. So you think about the goose that lays the golden eggs. What is the goose that lays the golden eggs? That's your business, right? The golden eggs, that's your personal budget. So here's what you got to do. At a time like this, definitely don't kill the goose. Just don't eat as many eggs. Right. And so now you take that money and you double down on things like lead generation, coaching, staff. And when I say staff, I'm talking specifically sales team members. We're hiring sales team members as fast as we can right now. Now, what we're doing is we're hiring a remote. So they're going to sell from home. They're going to be our ISAs in their homes short term. And then they're going to be working from our office when this all changes. Now, if you guys, and I know, for example, Matt, you own an ISA company. This is a time people are more open to getting calls right now than ever before. For sale bonders and expireds are so easy right now compared to 6 months ago because none of the agents are calling them anymore. And so for everybody watching this, you should be calling Matt right now and saying, bro, hook me up. Like, give me a freaking ISA. Let's get calling some expireds. Set me some appointments. And I'm telling you, double down on that stuff right now and then do your listing appointments over Zoom. It's not that hard. We have people doing this every day and making a ton of money doing it. People like Ken Kratz. That guy doesn't screw around. He's not only doing that, he's also investing in a lot of real estate right now. So in fact, I just bought a house in Memphis, Tennessee. Awesome. In fact, we're just getting ready to close on it. My point here is this: double down on the things that bring you revenue. Good people right now are going to be bailing out of lead sources. Awesome. You can pick those up. People are going to be bailing out of, when they bail out of lead sources, their team members are going to start leaving because they won't have any more leads. Great. Go hire those people. Then a couple months down the road, there won't be any revenue left. So they're going to have to lay off their administrative team members. Great. Now you've got your pick of the litter of the admin team members. Hire them too. I'm telling you, this is when the smart people grow massively and quickly.
So true. And that's why, because I think it's inherent where a lot of people, even if you're aggressive, even if you're someone who prides themselves on putting their best foot forward, doing their very best, it's human nature to want to pull back when you see all this bad stuff that's going. And somebody actually in your group had posted something and they were like, oh, what are you doing different? Or what's the difference? I think it was, what's the difference between like a good agent and someone who's just average? And so, well, the good agent ignores the noise. And it was funny because like, what do you mean by ignore the noise? I'm like, well, they're not watching the news. They're not, and nothing against the news, but of course the media tries to portray that everything is terrible, that it's a very difficult time. And look, I love the media. We're on social media right now, but there are elements that you have to pick and choose and invest your time. How do you feel? I mean, I got to ask, somebody in your position doing what you're doing, coaching these, amazing leaders, do you spend a lot of time watching the news and things like that? Or what is your, what does like a perfect day look like?
Well, it's interesting because there's a lot of people right now that would focus on the doom and gloom. And look, don't get me wrong. We empathize with the people that are going through challenges right now. We get it.
Of course.
And yes, our hearts go out to those people. And yes, we pray for those people. But here's the deal. We don't stop. That we don't allow those things to stop us from moving forward and being successful. Give me an example. If it's like the airplane, right? If you don't put your oxygen mask on first, you're going to be laying on the floor. You're not going to be able to help the guy next to you get his on, right? So you have got to continue to stay the course. You've got to continue to be productive. Just because we have to change the way we do business doesn't mean that we can't still be productive. Just because there's all this bad stuff happening out there for a number of people around the world doesn't mean we don't love them, doesn't mean we don't care for them, doesn't mean that we don't empathize with them. It just means that we know that we will be in a better position to help them if we continue to be productive. And again, it's not about being greedy. It's not about making a ton of money. Right now, being productive is something everyone in the world needs to be focused on right now. Because if everybody in the world sat on their hands and did nothing, guess what? Everybody fails, right? It's been said that, the only thing it takes for evil to triumph is for good men to do nothing. So guess what? Don't do nothing. Do something. Right. Be productive. And there's lots of ways to be productive, but you must be productive. And so, I'm not a doom and gloomer. I don't watch the news. And I shouldn't say never. Occasionally I'll turn it on, but very, very rarely. Usually it's because my wife is watching it and I happen to walk into the room and it's on the TV or whatever. But the reality is I'm very uninterested in what the news has to say, because I don't care whether you're watching CNN or Fox or any of the others. They're all skewed. They all have their political agenda, and I'm not interested in anybody's political agenda. What I'm interested in is, how can I help my clients be successful in these times? How can I help my clients make the best of a bad situation, and come out on top and be able to help others in the process? I mean, think about this. How much more can you help other people when you're sitting on a boatload of cash than when you have none? Would you rather be the one doing the helping or be the one that needs the help? I would much rather put you in a position of being one of the people that provides the help. And in order to do that, you got to be productive. That means you got to work your butt off. So what we say is, pray like it all depends on God, and work like it all depends on you. And it'll work itself out.
It's true. I feel like I've put in more hours since it's funny, because this whole, I haven't slept. I generally sleep maybe 4 or 5 hours a night, because my brain's always buzzing. I'm thinking, okay, what is the next big thing that I can do that's going to help drive, not just drive business for us, but help the fellow man, help realtors, help loan officers, help people that, because and I have to give a lot of credit to my clients, because they've stayed the course. We've had very few that have deviated, and some have because they don't really know where to turn or what to do. And but I would say a majority of them really stuck the course. And if anything, we've seen, just like you were saying earlier, expireds. They pick up. We had, and this is embarrassing, but I just share. We had the lowest pickup rate we ever had was 3%. So that means 100 phone calls,
three people answer.
Conversations, and I'm like, how does that happen? We're over, and I literally, I'd ask my ops guy, I need you to recheck these numbers. 15% we're now up to.
Whoa!
Which is ridiculous. I've never seen that. I've
But
never seen it.
Here's what people need to understand. This is what I don't think people really, you got to do the math. And real estate is freaking math. That's all it is, you guys. So watch this. If you're at 15%, the trough was at 3%. Think about this. You literally now are in a position to do 5 times as much business within the same amount of time. Why? Because other agents are too concerned about the doom and gloom that's going on in the world to get their butts back to work. And again, guys, we're not saying that you're not going through tough stuff. I get it. Some of you have family members that are going through things. Some of you have gotten sick. I get that. And please don't misunderstand this for lack of empathy. That's not what it is. There's a difference between a lack of empathy and creating, how do I say, codependency is the wrong word. I'm not going to enable you to allow this to stop your progress. I will not be an enabler. The only thing I will enable is for you to continue to be successful despite the challenges. I'll use another example. Andy Kantz, one of our coaches at Club Wealth. Andy's in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Is it Sioux Falls? Yeah, Sioux Falls. And Andy has leukemia. He's recovering from leukemia. This guy, I'm telling you, he's been near death. And when I say near death, I'm talking like they gave him days to live, like literally near death multiple times. And he's freaking figured out. His wife is an ER nurse. If anybody on this planet, because of his leukemia, he is most likely to get this, right? Because his immune system is down, right? So not only because his wife works in a hospital, does his likelihood of getting it go way up, his likelihood of having a major challenge with it goes way up because of his leukemia. And guess what his attitude is? You know what? I'm going to go out and I'm going to get mine. I'm going to keep working hard. I'm going to do what I need to do. I can't control at this point whether I get it or not. He says, I've just decided I'm going to get it. I'm going to practice safety. I'm going to wash my hands. I'm going to avoid touching my face. I'm going to, social distance. And by the way, I hate the word social distance. It should be physical distance and social togetherness, right? We can be socially together via Zoom like we are right now. But he's decided that, you know what? He's going to practice good safety habits, and he's not going to worry about what happens because he doesn't control what happens. He can only control and that is, do I pick up the freaking phone or not? Do I help someone today or not? Do I do something for someone else today or not? Am I going to be successful today or not? And what you just described is, hey, in the same amount of time, I could be 5 times as effective as I was a month ago.
Without becoming more skillful. I mean, that's right. Without even having to increase your skills. So
that's right.
Yeah. I mean, it is. Yeah. It is amazing. And I will say this, I have to give a shout out to one of your guys, Brian Curtis, which that That guy is amazing. And it's funny because
That's a good guy.
the
He's
first
one of our
thing
coaches.
yes. And he is, we also work together with him as well. And I mean, the one thing I heard him say on one of his videos was leading with empathy. And it's almost addressing the elephant in the room, because there's a difference between empathy and enabling. And I was going to say even excuses. You put a better one in with enabling, but you have to lead with this empathy. And even when we call, we're like, hey, listen, we're not calling to pressure you on anything. We understand what's going on today. How are you and your family going through these difficult times? And I mean, it's literally everyone's opening up, everyone's talking, and they're telling us exactly what it is that they want to accomplish, and whether they want to sell a home or not. It's a human connection, and we need that. I don't like social distancing either. We need that connection though during this time, that
Absolutely.
social connection. Because physical, I get it, but that's so true. Well, man, this was great. You dropped so much value on everybody, and I can't thank you enough for jumping on. And if there was anything, by the way, guys, for everyone that's on here, so www.clubwealth.com, for anyone who is gracious enough to post that in the comments, I would be extremely grateful. You don't want me multitasking. It doesn't usually work very well when I do that, but it's clubwealth.com. I went to an event in November, which seems like yesterday, and that was
Business
a blast.
Strategy Mastermind Conference. Yeah.
Yep. Met a lot of amazing people. And Michael, I think you said you guys have something going on. We were talking a little bit beforehand. You have a virtual one that's going on as well. Is that something
in
that
like
people?
5 days. Yeah. On the 21st, I believe. It's the Listing Agent Boot Camp. You can find all the details on our website. We have more people signed up for this than we've ever had. So we're well over 400 agents that are signed up for it now. And it's going to be crazy. We've got over 80 different sessions in 2 days at this event.
Wow.
Over 80 sessions to choose from.
Wow.
It's going to be insane. And every single one of the people teaching a session is successful. Every single one of these people is doing what you guys are doing. They're out there selling houses, and they're doing it successfully right now. Every one of them. I'm telling you guys, you gotta join Listing Agent Bootcamp. It's awesome. The other thing that I would recommend for those that aren't already, and I would hope that most of the people are already, but if you're not, jump into our Facebook group. We've got the Club Wealth Facebook group. You go to facebook.com/group/Club Wealth. I'll give it to you again. It's facebook.com/groups/Club Wealth. Go there. It's free. It doesn't cost anything. And all of our coaches, like I said, over 70 coaches at Club Wealth, all of them are in there. Some of the top agents around the country are in that group. It's a big group. It's 34,000 agents, but it's relatively small. It's not, 100,000+ agents kind of group. So it's a very management, and we are very particular about the content that don't allow anybody to pitch in there. We don't, if somebody put some dumb idea in there that's, going to get you into trouble or something like that, we don't mince words. We just delete it. We're very careful to ensure that when you get in that group, you can trust the information and the people in there. And if for any reason that changes, then we just get rid of them. So that said, facebook.com/groups/Club Wealth, great free information. And then you can ask your question. I look at that group every single day. I'll be happy to engage with you guys there, answer any questions I possibly can as fast as I can. I don't always get to them same day, like the 21st, 22nd of this month. I won't get to them all because we're going to have a lot going on during that event. But give me time. I always catch up. So.
And what happens after the events? You usually got to have a day or so of downtime too. So, maybe a day or so after.
I would love to say that that's the case. Normally after the events, I'm driving back, like event in San Antonio. I live in Seattle. And so I've got this big, monster trailer that our chief operating officer, Ron Anderson, and I, we jump in my truck and we drive this trailer all the way back to Seattle. But during this one, thankfully, we won't have to make that long drive. But there actually won't be time to rest because we've got a whole bunch of things happening right after the event. We got a bunch of workshops coming up, and we've got a bit of a rush of people to do strategy sessions. We offer people a free session with one of our coaches once a year. So, any agent that wants or any broker that wants can do a strategy session with one of our coaches that sells more or that has more agents in their brokerage than the does. And there's been a big lately. I mean, literally, normally we do, a couple hundred of these a month. We're over 400 of these a month right now. It's crazy.
Wow.
I mean, it's insane right now.
Well, so, everyone's looking for direction right now more than anything.
Yeah.
I mean, they're looking for what to do. And I think it's all about where you're investing your time. So again, thank you. Speaking of time, again, I appreciate your time. Thank you for investing in this. And guys, again, for everybody that's watching, clubwealth.com. And it is a great resource. Go in there. And also, I mean, and of course, because we're an affiliate or we're part of Club Wealth as well. And we work together. If you go to clubwealth.com/appointments today, you will also get discounts on our services as well for inside sales. We have services for just about anybody in any area of their business. And I'd love to have a strategy call with you as well. So guys, again, Michael, thank you for jumping on. For all of our viewers, we had lots of viewers, lots of engagement. Thank you all for being a part of this. And we will see you guys on the next episode next week. Same channel, same place. Right. Thanks, Michael. All right. Thank you. Have a great day. Thanks for jumping on. See you guys.